like
We're open every Saturday.
the Mendocino Area Parks Association? Or are you on your own? Oh, cool.
They relight the light, and this was the 100th anniversary with the lights were closed. So it's really exciting.
Cool.
This building this was burned down, and they rebuilt it a few years ago, but they built it on the original footprint of the farmhouse. But this was Pine Grove. This whole area was called Pine Grove, and it was a really thriving community for about 20 years. There was a horse race track here, there was a brewery here, there were rooming houses here, there was a dairy, all kinds of stuff. And then when the roads got better between Mendocino and Fort Bragg, it just died a natural death. But this has a real brief history right here. Frolic. And there's a lot of information about that down at the lighthouse. And that's how this whole coast was discovered, because the insurance agent that came up to see what could be salvaged off of that ship discovered redwoods.
And is this like something about the Native Americans here or something?
Yes, there's some former Indian things in there.
Okay. Okay.
We're leaving here. I'm going to be down there for it no matter what.
Significance. It's a centennial of the relighting of the lighthouse, and this actually is an authentic dress from the 1900s. And it's, would you like to see the sleeves?
Yes, I would. It's actually beautiful here. You got the pearls.
Got the pearls. The pearls are ancient too, but this is an old-fashioned way that they used to make the lace, where they would weave the cotton first and then undo it in order to weave to make the lace.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yes.
How old is this?
This is about 150 years old.
Well preserved.
Yes, it actually
It's
is.
amazing how clean it is.
The trick is buttoning the back. It's actually all hook and eyes. They didn't have buttons
Yeah,
back
buttons
then.
were a new thing back then. And this quilt here?
The quilt is a centennial quilt that's being auctioned off to raise money for the Cabrillo Lighthouse. The drawing will be today.
So that's part of today's events?
Yeah.
Made by Sue Ellington. Are there guests?
Oh yeah, there's guests.
And it's so bad.
All right. That's the point. That's the point. Ready? Yes.
It's in the
There you are. Go ahead. Let me get him signed.
cameras. I love it.
There she is.
How are you doing?
Good.
Get everyone's at the party.
Yeah, I know.
30 minutes.
Hand it to me.
So I'll tell you,
I take the battery, hand me that.
I shined it up. I shined it up really nice.
I'm sure you can guess what my role is tonight. I'm afraid I don't sound like Wilhelm Baumgartner. He was from Bavaria in Germany, and I'm from Kilmarnock, Scotland originally. So I'm not going to try and do a Bavarian German accent tonight. I'm going to stick to my normal mid-Atlantic, as some of my friends tell me today. Wilhelm was born in Bavaria. He came to the United States in the 1890s. He served in the United States Army in the Spanish-American War in Cuba. When he left the Army, he was looking for something to do, and he had some good skills, and he decided he heard about the U.S. Lighthouse Service. And he applied to the Lighthouse Service in 1902. He was accepted after taking his civil service exam, and started out as a lowly second assistant lightkeeper, and worked his way up to first assistant. And in 1908, he heard that a new light station was being established at Point Cabrillo, or Cabrillo, if you're from Portugal or Portuguese. And he decided that he would apply, and he was successful and was appointed as the first head lightkeeper here at Point Cabrillo. So if you can think back to what it was like 100 years ago, it was actually a lot foggier than it is tonight. And Wilhelm, like we have done tonight, invited a few of the neighbors. I think a much smaller gathering than we have here tonight. It's really tremendous to see the crowd that we've got here on this, we're fortunately lucky, almost windless evening, no fog. So they actually lit the light just after midnight on June the 10th. But we decided that really getting you up and out here for midnight this morning on June 10th was probably not going to be a really well-attended event. So we decided to do it on the evening of June the 10th. Again, 100 years to the day since that lens was first lit. The lighting process, of course, back then, 100 years ago, was a little more complicated than it is for us today. The source of the light was a multiple wick oil lamp. The light itself was turned by a clockwork device, rather like a big grandfather clock without a face. You could actually see an example of it in the lobby of the lighthouse that we've got on display, and thanks actually to Butch and the U.S. Lighthouse Society for the loan of that wonderful clockworks. So I'm just going to read the little piece that appeared in the local paper, our famous Mendocino Beacon here, on June the 12th, 1909. And you'll note that the prose of the journalists are a little bit different from what they were, what they are today. The headline was "Bellows officially. Point Cabrillo begins its career." In order to adorn the pages of history with a record of the official start, and to mark the time with some incident worthy of the occasion, the Point Cabrillo Light and Fog Station was started Wednesday night by a gathering of people at the home of head keeper Baumgartner for a good social time. Wednesday was the date set by Major McKinstry, in charge of the 12th Lighthouse District, and the fog was good and thick on the night of that date. So there was ample excuse for putting the foghorn to work and permitting the gentle zephyrs to waft the soft strains of the symphonious horn to the rhythmical ears of the sleeping residents within a radius of half-score miles. The fog was too dense for the light to penetrate very far, but the horn bellowed loud enough to make up for it. The start was made at the hour of midnight. Wilhelm Baumgartner, chief lighthouse keeper, sent out invitations to all the neighbors within a radius of a mile or so to be present on the official start-up of the light and the signal. After everything was started and fairly well underway, the guests, to a number of 30 or 40, were invited to partake of a midnight supper. The collation, which was prepared by Mrs. G.E. Bassett, wife of the first assistant keeper, was bountiful and unusually appetizing. The guests expressed themselves as having a most enjoyable time. Unfortunately tonight, we're only going to be lighting the light. We no longer have those symphonious foghorns that are referred to in this little piece. we still refer to actually the building that houses the gift shop and the exhibits as the fog signal building, because it in fact did house the original oil engines and compressors that drove the big foghorns on the roof of the building on it.
Come here and help Uncle Jim. This is our lighthouse baby.
Howdy!
Zoe grew up in that house right over there. When Lisa worked out here, Zoe was our baby, and she grew up over in that house and in that office with us. Would you draw the drawing for the big quilt, the big beautiful quilt that's over there on the front step? Okay, you give that to Bruce.
We're not on that, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Thank
you,
Zoe.
I got
Zoe.
I got it.
See ya.
There we go.
Okay, the winning number is 0126, and it's Dick Danicky. Dick Danicky. So I'm going to start. Well, actually, I'm going to try and we've actually got a couple of interesting artifacts. It may be difficult to see them, but I've got a little brass lighter here, and this was actually used to light the wicks on the light. This is an official U.S. Lighthouse Service wick lighter on it, and Jim tells me it will actually light. There we are. Yeah, so it gives a pretty good light on it. And this is what was used. The keeper would actually have gone up to the
Microphone.
Get back to the microphone.
I'm trying not to burn my fingers here. This would have been carried up by the keeper and lit in the watchroom, actually below the lantern room, and then it would have been taken up and it would have been used to actually light the wicks in the lamp inside the lens. Looking at this tonight, it's the first time I've seen it lit. It must have been a pretty tricky job lighting that wick. So I'm glad I'm not doing that tonight. The other item I got here, and I'll see if I can illuminate it with the lighter here, is Jim. Somebody said, "Watch my beard."
What beard?
This is actually an original U.S. Lighthouse Service lantern, but Jim has applied all of his engineering skills to it, and we've concluded it's much too difficult for us to light tonight. So I'm carrying it unlit and going down. So I'm going to be heading down to the light, and very shortly we will have it back on again. So if you will be patient and wait for me, I'm on my way.
Okay, is this when you're following? Yes, Okay.
Change it off.
Okay. Following you.
I'll give you the light when I get up here.
Okay, great. So, okay. One more. Okay.
You can do that if you like.
As everything else gets dark.
Yeah.
step outside.